Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about all kind of form in Kamen Rider series. There's a lot of Kamen Rider forms in the series, and there are terms that are canon and non-canon. So today I'm going to explain to you what is and what is not a form, and at the same time just basically telling you guys the definition and also the general idea of what is the type of forms in Kamen Rider series. Without further ado, let's go. Starting off easy is base form, which is the form that the rider takes immediately after transforming and will be the form that you see most often. It's also the form that you see in poster of the series. And basically the example is Ichigo, Kuga, Mighty, and Zero One. And these forms are basically just any other forms of a main rider or a secondary rider that they immediately turn first, or like the ones that are commercialized, or whenever you look up their names, this is the one that you're gonna see. Next up is unique, which is incomplete form. Not every rider has it, but these forms are considered as incomplete, has the names, and usually demonstrate them to be the weakest form by default. And incomplete form also generally means that basically the rider itself isn't fully transformed yet, so they just stuck in that state.
Next is attachment, which is any parts that appears on rider's body part as means to help them in fight. And this basically not necessarily a form, but there are some riders who does attachment and consider them as an actual form. So I just put it just to be safe.
Next is the upgrade form, which is direct upgrade to the main transformation. Basically, it is just a much more stronger version of the older or the original suits, and it appears very early on in the series and probably the second forms that would appear other than the attachments.
After that, we have super form, which is a form stronger than upgrade form. It usually appears right before the final form, and it's basically set up as the middle seasons forms, or a form that appears to shows that hey, we're half through the story.
And finally, final form, which is the strongest form of a rider. And final form is not the form that you use last, but final form is the form that you acquired last in the season and seen as incredibly strong, and at the same time it also have its own narrative in terms of the characters.
Next is extra final form, which is a form achieved in a movie or spin-off. Sometimes it is considered as a plot device or the narrative of a character story arc that were unfinished within the original series.
For example, some Kamen Rider characters feels like their story are not fully fleshed out in the series, even though they tried so much and putting content into their characters. So they try to make a spin-off or a movie itself to basically give them a final form to symbolize that their story arc has now wrapped up. But sometimes there's also a chance that extra final form is basically just happens because they want to. Then we have combined form, which is a form basically combining all the past power into one form, and usually this form looks the most messiest and the most ugliest, and I feel like that is on purpose. Next is fusion form, which happen as two or more people combine, or when two or more power combine.
Which totally different with the combined form, because fusion form is where Toei actually give a fuck and actually make a suit.
And finally, berserk form, which refers to a form that turns the user into raging killing machine where they are unable to control themselves. These forms usually acquire when the main character becomes insane or their morals change, or the form itself is the reason why they have their moral change. Next is possessed form, refers to a form that causes the user to be possessed by anything else but the user itself.
This basically means that as soon as the rider transform, they basically not themselves anymore.
Next is mecha form, refers to a form that summon a mecha that become part of the rider itself. Most of the time the form itself is only existed in CGI form, but there are times where the original suit was made.
Next is mix and match form, refers to certain rider who have multiple interchangeable body parts that consider as form as itself, and it is not an attachment. This form only exists for O's, double, and build, at least so far. Next is crossover form, refers to form that was designed specifically for a crossover. Sometimes they come in pair.
This is due to them being part of collaboration between the two franchises,
or between one franchise but different series. We also have monster form, which is when a rider turns into a monster, and this is not common for a lot of riders, but there are some riders that not human in the first place, and in the series they show their real self and turn into a monster. Next we have movie form, which is a form achieved through movies. These movies are not considered crossover related, therefore it's different from crossover form. And at the same time, they are not strong enough or even most powerful enough to be considered extra final form, therefore they're just only movie form. Similarly, we have Hyper DVD form, a form achieved from Hyper DVD. These forms never become canonized or used in main series. Generally, it's a repurpose of a pre-existing item in order to sell more toys. A great example is Kamendebate Bibiru armor, where you can see it's basically just Kamedebate's ghost armor. Next is stage show form, a form that only appears in stage show and would never be canonized, or at least it seems like it won't. We also have magazine form that only appear on magazine promotion, so I do not have any footage similar to that stage show. And finally, anniversary form, a form that exists as a homage to past rider series. These forms generally appear in anniversary series, but it is not impossible for it to appear in a non-anniversary series.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Shua!